hear the music and feel him pull at my soul. Baby girl, you know. You know who I am, and you know who you are. It's okay. Pause. Take it slow. Search deep within your soul, you know. You feel so much confusion and all these things pull at your mind and they're trying to distract you, but baby, you're mine. Baby, you're mine. You've always been mine. When I was born, doctor said that my percentage of having brain damage was 99.9. Yet somehow I survived and I'm fine. Even in the womb, they tried to tell my mom that it was gonna be too hard, there'd be too many problems, it'd be easier if she were gone. They tried to tell my mom to just end the pregnancy right then. But my mom knew I was God's even then. He said, I have formed her in your womb, that I have known her even before she was formed in your womb, that I have called and set her aside, that I have appointed her as a prophet to the nations, that your baby girl is mine and she's gonna be fine. And everyone around is panicked and they cry. And it seems that there's no peace they can find, and yet somehow my mom was fine. She said that in that moment she thought there was something wrong with her, that everyone is crying, and she knew that I was God. She was at peace, and she knew God said she is mine, she is going to be fine. We leave that moment and I'm 5. I'm driving in the car with my mom, and I see trash on the side of the road and I cry, and I said, Mom, I just don't understand. Why? I just don't understand why. Why are people so careless? And how can we let this happen to the earth? We're just not caring for God's creation. I just don't understand. And again, I'm 5 and we're driving and I see these 2 men fighting and I cry. I cry and I cry and I cried for 3 days straight. I cried, and that broke my mom's heart. She didn't know what to do. Her little baby girl was breaking and she wanted to be the glue. And Mom, I don't blame you. No one wants to see their baby girl fall apart. But that was only just the start, and I'm realizing that God created me to be His heart. So again, it would break. And from this little girl, her innocence, a man would take. And I was so sweet and wanted to love everyone. There was not a single soul that I would hate. But when that happened, I began to question God. I said, God, where were you? How could you let this happen to me? All I do is care. So I guess I'm just meant to be used. That all I'm gonna be is walking through this earth, tattered and bruised. But it's okay, because He needed me. Everyone just needs me, and it's okay. Because I see them. I want them to know someone sees them. So I just put back on my brave face and here I go. I'm just gonna continue. I'm just gonna continue to love you, you know? Because that's all that I know. So I covered it up and we pushed it aside. But I didn't realize, to myself I lied. I was just not strong enough to deal with that pain, and it would have crushed me. And God knows it would have changed my name, and not in a good way. I would have been like everyone else at this point, walking through life like it's a game. So I had shoved down all of the shame. I still knew who I was, and I still knew my name. All I was love. So that continued, and it didn't stop. In college, God called me to go on a mission trip to Cambodia, and I said, God, I will go anywhere you send me. I will go anywhere you send me, but not there. I don't want to go there. And he said, baby girl, I'm sending you there. I'm sending you to be strong for those that can't be strong for themselves. So with me, we will go. So I went, and again, my past I had blocked out. I didn't know anything that happened to me as a child, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to deal with it because it would be too much. It would consume me. So I went to this foreign place with eyes that were still so blind, and a naivety that only God could break off of me. And the one thing my heart couldn't handle was the abuse of a child. The one thing I didn't want to look at was the abuse of a child. To me, it was just wild. How can I can't wrap my mind around this. A sweet little innocent baby that can't fight for and protect themselves, and you are bringing them into a world of pain that they shouldn't have to deal with. So I went, and my heart broke. But I came back and realized that it's in my backyard. I came back and God showed me that it was in my own life. That I was just stuffing all the anger and hatred and strife. I don't want to be mad, God, I said. I don't want to be mad at you. And if we look at this, I know that's what I'll do. So I began to wrestle, and I said, I know that you are true. I know what you say is true. But then how could you let this happen? How could you let this happen every day? Oh. And I just got to a point where I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to pray. So I started walking through life feeling like a zombie. I told God I didn't want to be me. Every day for 1.5 years, I cried, and I got tired of the questions and the whys because I didn't have answers for me, so how can I explain to you? I didn't want to be that girl that was just so emotional. But that moment opened my eyes to just how blind I had been. I would say I cared about people, but I was living in a bubble. And I was ignoring their pain because I was ignoring mine. So I'm in college, and there's this guy that starts to pursue me. And I told him, I just want to be friends. I was strong and independent. I don't need no man. And I know there's a lot of healing I'm going through. So on my own I will stand. And I also believed that all I would ever be is alone, and I needed to be. You can't help me. And all my pain will only drag you down, so if you want, you can stick around. But I don't need no man. And yet he kept chasing, he kept pursuing. And he told me, God said, keep pursuing. I want you to love her. She doesn't know what she's doing. Hi. So for a while we were friends, and he continued to pursue me. He was the best friend I had had, and I didn't want to lose him out of my life. So I said, okay, I'll date you. But I didn't want to be touched. I didn't want to hold hands. I didn't even want to hug. We weren't really boyfriend and girlfriend, but I didn't want to lose him. I didn't want to lose him out of my life. There were things he had struggled with, and it brought up some of my own pain. I hit a point about to graduate, and I knew God was taking us down different paths, and I knew I didn't want to marry him. I needed to be honest and not drag him along, not string him along. It was unfair of me to engage his heart in that way. He was sold. We talked about marriage, how we would have kids, and looking back, him pursuing me was God's love pursuing me. It was God's love. It was God showing me, no matter the hurt and the pain you're going through, no matter how hard you are and how mad at me you get, I will love you. No matter how many times you turn your back and you reject me, I will love you. I am love. I am love. I am love. So I went my own way. I graduated. I went to work at a boarding school for troubled teens. I wanted to be there for them in ways that I felt like no one was there for me as a teenager. And I told God that I wanted to be pursued. I told God that I wanted to be asked on a date, and I gave God a time frame. I said, okay, God, I want to be there 3 months, and then I want to be asked on a date. And up until this point, I even told you with my previous boyfriend, I didn't want anything physical with a man. I didn't want to be touched, and I didn't want to touch him in any way. I didn't want to hold hands. And because of my past and things I had gone through, I saw sex as something disgusting. I saw it as something that people only use each other to meet a need and don't really care about each other. And I had seen people in my life who really cared about someone and gave a piece of themselves to that person and then got trampled and hurt, and it disgusted me. It disgusted me. I couldn't even hear the word sex without it being sick to my stomach. There were nights that I would wake up trembling because of dreams, or I would hear a noise and it made me sick and I would cry. I hated it. I was so mad at God, this thing that he had created to be beautiful, and I was so mad. And I didn't see anyone standing up for God's children in that way. Cambodia was the first time. But yet it still continued, and I didn't understand. And how could something that so many people abuse be good and beautiful? What the enemy intended for evil, I will use for good. What the enemy intended for evil, I will use for good. Baby girl, there's just so much that you have misunderstood. I did not want that to happen. When you were crying, I was crying. So I continue to walk through life. I didn't want anything physical. And I meet this man. I'm at the boarding school. I've been there 3 months. I still haven't been asked on a date. And I meet this man. And everything changes for me. Like I said, up until this point, I didn't want anything physical. The word sex disgusted me. I meet this man and instantly I want to give him everything. Everything. I mean, the second day of knowing him, if he had said, hey, let's go into the back room and let's be together, I would have said, okay, I love you already, let's go elope, let's go now. All these crazy emotions I had never felt, and I thought, if they're all coming up now, this must be from you, God. You must be blessing this relationship. Yet I was terrified. I had all these feelings for him and I was terrified. I was so torn. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to give him everything, but I also, again, I said we should just be friends. Because I knew there was a lot of work God was doing in me, and I was at a place of helping all of these teens heal emotionally. Yet I craved intimacy. I reached a point where I craved intimacy. So we dated and it was perfect. I was romanced. He would give me flowers and tell me I was beautiful. Everything a woman wanted to hear. And my heart was all in and my body was all in. I still wanted to give him everything. Yet I knew that it was a beautiful gift meant to be saved for marriage, so I waited. There was a time where I told him, I want to just give you everything now, and he said, me too. Yet we waited. So I was so ready and so excited. For the first time in my life, this is something I want. And I know that it's blessed, and God says it's beautiful. All right, baby, let's go. I give you everything. I give you every piece of me. And for some reason, it just wasn't received. Somewhere in our minds, someone had been deceived. But I can't leave, and I won't ever leave. Because, God, this has to be what you have chosen for me. I believe. So I didn't leave. I stuck it out. And every day I would pray, God, what does it take? And loyal and faithful I remained. Day by day, night by night, time just kept passing. And it just kept ticking by. And again I would ask, why? And I would lay awake at night and I would just cry. But there has to be a way to work through this. There has to be a way, because I know that you can redeem. I know that you are good, and I know you can heal anything. At 1.5 years, I thought about leaving. I said, what the heck am I doing? But yet I love him, and I made these vows, and I'm committed. The that one thing that I now craved of physical intimacy wasn't there. And we had talked about it and said that it would happen every day. Did we even realize what we were saying? Because not once could we connect in that way. So I was torn. Do I leave or do I stay? At this point, I don't even know what to say because it feels like I'm just bringing you down. But I'm trying my best to make it work. And that's when God brought his angel into our lives. And he worked with us. He cared about both of us. And slowly things started to get better. In some ways, things started to get better. But I still craved more. And the deepest part that should be there in a marriage still wasn't there. I tried all I could. And yes, in some ways, I also failed. In some ways, I had let you down. But 3 years in our marriage, and we still hadn't made love. I had to reach a point where I had to say this is enough. And that man God had brought into our lives was still steady and constant and would fight for both of us. He would encourage both of us. He encouraged me to stay with you, to stick it out, and to let you change, but to not drive it into the ground. But at 3 years, my eyes were open and I realized, how long am I going to wait? And I had dealt with my pain. But there was still a block that we couldn't work past. So I said I'm done with the marriage, and I'm saying I'm done. And where I stand is where I'm going to remain. Am I saying I'm done for another man? No. And I told you in the beginning that that is not what I am doing. But I am standing my ground because I know my self-worth. I know who I really am. And it's not fair to me or to you to remain in a marriage where I am trying to be God in your life and I am trying to do what only He can do. So now I know my self-worth and I'm going to stand. I'm going to stand for what I believe in, and I still love you and I still care about you. But I'm not going to let anything get in the way anymore of my first love, and my first love is God. And God says, yes, He's designed sex to be beautiful and in a covenant. And if you are married, you are to consummate the marriage. And the only way I am ever going to be married again is if there is a man who God is his first love, and that's not going to change. And God is my first love, and that is not going to change. And if he's living his lifestyle and I'm living mine and they line up. But baby boy, yours and mine don't line up. Do I still care about you? Absolutely. But I'm not married to you, babe. Sure, we got married legally by law and we have a piece of paper, but a piece of paper is a piece of paper. I talked today about faith without works is dead. Show me your faith by your works. I showed you my faith that God could redeem our marriage by staying in it. I stayed in it for 3 years. There's 2 butterflies playing, and every time I see a butterfly, it's God showing me that there's life and goodness, and He is here and He is working. Thank you, God. I am married. I'm married to Christ. He is my first love. He is my true husband, and He is showing me what that means and what that looks like. Is there a man I would like to marry? Yes. Because I admire who God is in him, and that He has let Himself be sanctified by His word, and He is a man of faith. That's the only kind of man I want to be with. But is that my focus? No. Haven't even seen this man in 2 months. I'm living for me, and I am letting God heal and redeem. I can see that He is using and is going to use everything the enemy intended for evil for good. I am healing from my past. Is it still raw? Yeah. Do I still cry? Yeah, because I have a fire and a whoo! I am passionate about that. And I told you guys at some point you will see my passion for why I think porn is wrong. It feeds into that industry of sex slaves and sex trafficking, and it's wrong. And that will continue to come out. But God is showing me that sex is meant to be beautiful, and I am waiting for that one man that God says, this is who I've chosen for you, and I've chosen you for them. And now I do have that desire, but it's not tainted and not coming from a place of hurt and me wanting to fill a need, which it may have been when I got married. I don't know, I'm still working through all that. And when the timing is right, I will fully give myself to one man, and I will have my family. Because Lord knows the deepest desires of my heart, and I want to be a mom. I see all the little babies, and I want mine. And I know it'll all come in time. So this is my story. This is who I am, and I am just learning. I'm working out my flesh, and I'm learning how to be constant, how to be consistent. But I am committed. I am committed to whatever it takes, and I'm going to continue to work out my flesh every day. Will I struggle and will I fall? Yes. And I still trip over my words. I still have a lot of pride that needs to be knocked down. So yeah, I'm going to continue to mess up to show you I'm not perfect. But I share my story just to say I've been through my own pain, and I'm working it out every day. But as much as I thought I was alone and had to be alone, we don't. And God is showing me what it means to be the church. And that is what I'm doing right now. It's what I'm doing on my channel, and that's what I'm doing standing out there with that sign. I am being the church, and I'm being there to show you that we can walk through this together. That you don't have to go through it alone, and I don't have to go through it alone. So for now, that's where we pause, but it's just going to continue, and my story is just going to continue to grow. It's not just my story, it's His story, which is becoming history. It's beautiful. Thank you, God. You are good. It's only Him. I love you all. I really love you all.